Hello, good afternoon class. Welcome to my class, Biology Form 4 2021. So today I'm going to continue with subtopic 2.2, living processes in unicellular organism. Before we go into further, as usual, let us review our content standard and learning standard for today's lesson. Okay, our content standard is 2.2 living processes in unicellular organism. All right, now I think most of you are familiar with the word unicellular. Unicellular here means organism that are made up only one cell. Okay, so our discussion today, okay, learning standard, conceptualize living processes in unicellular organism, okay, such as amoeba species and paramecium species. So these are the two main unicellular that we are going to discuss today lah. Alright. Right, so our learning standard that we are going to cover only 2.2.1. all right, so notes, okay, some in the notes here given some vocabulary, okay, vocabulary that you are going to you're going to see lah. Right, so one of it is respiration, okay, nutrition, okay, movement, reproduction, growth, excretion, and also response. What are these vocabulary covers? Actually, it covers the living processes of these two unicellular organism mentioned earlier. Okay, so there are other new vocabulary that you will find throughout this lesson. Therefore, I advise you to write it down when you listen to this video. Okay. Now, moving on. So, living processes in unicellular organism. Bear in mind that most of the resources that I use for this video, they are taken from our textbooks. So, our main reference here is textbooks. Okay. Therefore, I'm here to guide you on how to read textbooks. Okay, so unicellular organism are made up of only one cell stated here. However, this cell is a complete unit of life, okay, like multicellular organism. Okay, unicellular organism carry out all life processes, namely respiration, movement, nutrition, responding to stimuli, reproduction, growth, and excretion. Okay, now one example for unicellular organism is protozoans. Okay, example are amoeba and also paramecium species. Okay, now under today's subtopic, we are going to look into life processes of these two unicellular organism. Living processes in amoeba and paramecium. Okay, it should be species here. I forgot to write, but never mind. All right, movement. Okay, first processes is movement. Okay, amoeba constantly changes its shape when it encounters obstacles. Okay, when they encounter obstacles atau halangan, they will go around, okay, the obstacles by changing their shape. Okay, how does amoeba do this? Okay, amoeba moves by extending out its pseudopodium, or another name is false feet. Okay, so what is pseudopodium? Okay, imagine this is one amoeba, okay, in the illustration, one amoeba. Now the extended part, okay, the extended part of the amoeba is called as pseudopodium. Okay, and this extended part can come from any direction the amoeba wants. Okay, for example, if you know go up, so pseudopodium will extend upward. But if they want to go sideways, the pseudopodium can extend sideways. Alright, so it depends on the amoeba. Okay, when they extend the pseudopodium, alright, this is followed by flow of cytoplasm into the extended pseudopodium. So when they extend the pseudopodium, right, the cytoplasm of the amoeba will flow, okay, flow into the extended pseudopodium, okay, meaning that the movement of amoeba is that way lah, okay, referring to this illustration. All right, so these are another example, okay, move by extending temporary pseudopodia, or another name is falsehood, right? The rest of the cytoplasm flows slowly into this extension, hence the organism will move along, right? This is for amoeba. Paramecium, on the other hand, is different. Okay, Paramecium move by using rhythmic cilia beats. Okay, what are cilia? Cilia is actually a cilia is actually a tiny microscopic uh, uh, projection from the paramecium, lebih kurang macam bulu lah. So this cilia beats, okay, they beats macam pengayuh, kayuh ke belakang, okay. So it beats the water around it, okay, hence moving the paramecium to this direction, right? So if you can see, okay, the cilia, it beats the water that way, okay, water that way, right? So the paramecium will move this way, okay. This is how the paramecium moves, okay. Another life processes is responding to stimuli, right? Now, responding to stimuli means if there is a stimulus from outside, for example, light atau extreme heat, how would the organism respond? So that's how it responds. For example, if you are flashed with torchlight on your eye, directly to your eyes, your reaction will be to close your eyes, okay. However, okay, paramecium and amoeba respond to stimuli such as chemicals, all right, touch, or bright light. Okay, how do they respond to this? By moving away from the stimuli. And that's all lah. Okay, because amoeba and paramecium, they don't have eyes to blink, so they just move away. All right. Respiration. Respiration. Okay, unicellular organism as simple as amoeba and paramecium, they do not have respiratory structure atau respiratory system, tak ada. Why? Because they all the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs, okay, by simple diffusion, okay, through the plasma membrane. All right, so they have plasma membrane, so carbon dioxide and oxygen simply diffuse into and out from the amoeba and also paramecium by the means or through process simple diffusion on the surface of the cell. Nutrition, okay, nutrition on the other hand, right, the amoeba, when they detect there are food nearby, okay, it will move forward by extending its pseudopodium, okay, as usual. Why? Because they want to trap the food particles by phagocytosis. So phagocytosis is a process, okay. For amoeba will engulf, it will engulf means dia akan mengelilingi, okay, the food particles, and then, okay, it will form a food vacuole. All right, it will form a food vacuole. The food vacuole will combine with lysosome. Right, so the lysosome, they have an enzyme we call as lysozyme, which hydrolyze atau break down the food particles. Okay, when the food particles are already broken down, the nutrients are absorbed into cytoplasm. Okay, undigested food is then discharged, okay, when the amoeba moves, okay, leaving around the waste product. This one, for example, this one. Okay, number one, engulf, phagocytosis. Number two, formation of food vacuole. Number three, okay, fusion of food vacuole with lysozyme to digest the food particle, and also the nutrient is absorbed. As number four, undigested food is left behind, okay, as the amoeba move forward. Right? Paramecium, on the other hand, okay, they have different means of getting their nutrition. Paramecium, with the help of psyllium, beats the food and transfer it into oral groove. Oral groove is actually an opening on paramecium, in which the food enters, okay, enters into the paramecium, right? Similarly to amoeba, the paramecium, they have lysozyme, okay, lysozyme stored in lysosome, okay, which digest the food particles. Okay, and then undigested food, okay, in paramecium is discharged through anus. Alright, it seems that in nutrition wise, okay, dalam nutrition, paramecium, they have their own oral groove. Okay, the food enters in oral groove, while the undigested food, okay, is discharged through anus. Okay, so dia lebih ada a specialized structure for ingesting and excreting the food. Okay, right, excreting the food, they have their own specialized structure, which is oral groove and anus. Okay, this is an illustration to show, okay, how amoeba ingest their food, okay, digest their food, and also excrete waste product. Okay, excretion in amoeba. Okay, what are the things that are excreted by these two unicellular? Okay, one of it is carbon dioxide, the another one is ammonia. Okay, these two substances simply are removed by diffusion, simple diffusion. Right now, there is another process of excretion we call as osmoregulation process. Okay, osmo comes from the word water. Okay, regulation means you control, so you control the amount of water in the cell. Okay, because amoeba, okay, they do not have cell wall, meaning that if there is too much water inside the amoeba, it will burst. Therefore they need to expel excess water. Okay, as amoeba and paramecium lives in freshwater environment, water will diffuse by osmosis, okay, and fill the contractile vacuole, meaning that the amoeba, they have a contractile vacuole. When the vacuole expands to maximum size, contraction occurs and water is excreted from time to time. So the function of the contractile water is to store excess water and will expel excess water when the contractile vacuole already reached its maximum size. Okay. Now reproduction, when the condition as reproduction is another important life processes in which we the organism, they will increase in number. Okay, all right. In reproduction, when the conditions are suitable from and there is plenty of food, okay, amoeba and paramecium will reproduce by a sexual reproduction, okay, that is binary fusion through mitosis. Okay, binary fusion means they simply split into two individuals. right? However, when the environmental is not suitable, for example, the condition is too dry, the temperature is too low, ataupun ada shortage, okay, the amoeba will form spores ataupun spora that will germinate only when the environment improves, meaning that when there is enough food, the temperature is suitable, the condition is watery atau wet, then only the spore germinate, okay, into another amoeba. However, in Paramecium, okay, they will perform conjugation process, okay, when the environmental condition is not suitable. Okay, life cycle of Paramecium. Alright, this one is the differences between conjugation and binary fusion in Paramecium. Alright, now Paramecium, they undergo binary fusion, okay, when the condition is favorable, meaning they simply split into two individual. Okay, however, during unfavorable condition, they perform conjugation. So what is conjugation? Conjugation simply means exchange of genetic material, okay, between two amoeba. Okay, let's see here. Okay, genetic material, they akan swap between one amoeba with another, so this will have, okay, different genetic material compared to the original one. Okay, ada percampuran hijau dengan merah, so this is conjugation process. Right, so this is our task for today's class. Right, so what is the function of contractile vacuole in Paramecium? Right, this one you need to state the process. Okay, so process osmoregulation. So what is osmoregulation? Is to expel excess water in Paramecium. Right, now how does amoeba species moves? So you have to explain, alright, how does amoeba moves by explaining the formation of pseudopodium and also how cytoplasm, okay, they flow into the extended pseudopodium or force feed. Okay, now how does amoeba reproduce when environmental is unfavorable? This one also ada dalam buku teks. Formation of spore, okay, and the spore will only germinate into new amoeba when condition is favorable. Right, predict what will happen to the contractile vacuole if the paramecium is placed in concentrated salt solution. Okay, so concentrated salt solution here, okay, meaning there is less water in the solution around paramecium. This is paramecium, okay, here is concentrated, okay, meaning that the water will diffuse out from the paramecium into the concentrated solution, making the paramecium becomes dehydrated. So what happened to the contractile vacuole then? So this one I leave you to think what will happen to them. Okay, I only give you halfway of the answers, another halfway you have to answer yourself. Alright, so I want this exercise to be written in your notebook, okay, and then we will discuss the answer later. Alright.